Hey everybody, welcome to the Falcon one-shot. We are going to be taking a look at the Westport Independent here today. If you're wondering what the Westport Independent is all about, very good question. If you are familiar, or a fan of even, preferably a fan of, Papers, Please, you're going to be right at home with this title. Before we get too much into the game itself, I should mention, as you can see over here to the side, this is an early and unfinished version of the Westport Independent. The game's not done, not even close, but thanks for playing. This game right here, or what I'm playing, this build, is actually available to the public, so if you want to check this out for yourself, check out the description below. There should be a link to the website itself where you can actually download the game and give it a try for yourself. However, now that we got that out of the way, Falcon, what is the Westport Independent? Again, if you are familiar with Papers, Please, you'll kind of know what's going on with this game. The overarching story of the game itself is that there's kind of like a country kind of in conflict with itself. You have some rebels, you have the kind of dictatorship government in a sense, and what you are, or what your position in this is you're the editor of the Westport Independent. And it's kind of up to you to either push the stories out that kind of favors the government so that the public itself starts steering away from the rebels, or you could also try to expose the government for what they're doing and shed positive light on the rebels themselves so that the people start revolting against the government itself. However, both of those options do seem to have a negative consequence. If you are showing too much support to the rebels, the government's going to come over here and be like, you know what? No more papers for you, buddy. And on the flip side, if you're showing too much support to the government, you also run the risk of the rebels coming over and possibly causing some bodily harm on you. So I'm over here talking long enough about it. Let's get into the new game and show you exactly what we're here doing. Alrighty, so here is our main desk where we do all of our work. This is kind of like our editor desk over here, and this is where we can actually pick the articles that we want to either rework to make the government look good or to make the rebels look good and to bring attention to what the government's doing. Now, before we get into that though, we have some employees. Now, you're the editor, you kind of put up the story how you want to put it out, but then you give it to your writers, and they're the ones who are actually in charge of putting it into paper and then publishing it out. However, each one of your writers will also have kind of like affiliations to their own degree. So for instance, Julie over here, known for having doubtful opinions of the government, so there is that. If you go over to Phil, member of the Loyalist Party, and he also lives in the Western District. All of these little things, the information you're seeing here has a really big impact on the stories that you actually supply and whether your writers want to publish them or not, or actually write them out for you. And what I mean by that, for instance, if for Phil, because he's a member of the Loyalist Party, if I was to write a negative article about the government, Phil might either refuse to do it or just do a terrible job at it because he's a member of the Loyalist Party. He doesn't like to see that. Now, this is something that I'm pretty sure you could kind of, once the game's out, you could probably persuade them to still do it, but it's not going to be in your best interest to do so. And again, the game's really early alpha right now, so I'm sure it's going to be kind of built on, but I really like the premise of it for sure. So let's come over here and check out one of the articles really quickly. I'm going to use this one over here, which I've been kind of messing around with before we started recording right now. So, check this out. We have a title right here of our article. Loyalist government to take harder actions against suspected rebels. Seems harmless enough, right? The government's over here going after suspected rebels. The rebels are kind of being painted in the negative light by the government, so it's fine, right? As a regular civilian, you're thinking, oh, they're going after the rebels. Not a big deal. However, check this out. By clicking it, you actually change the headline of the article. Loyalist government to attack the privacy of civilians. Suddenly, as a civilian, you're thinking, wait a minute, my privacy is going to be attacked by the government? Why? So, again, as the editor, you have a lot of power in terms of what is going to be written and how you want to change public perception of what's happening out there. So, for the hell of it, I'm going to go anti-government for this little, let's look at here that we're doing. So we'll go ahead with that one. A new reform has passed that will hasten the arrest of rebel supporters. I am going to go ahead and strike this one out. The reform consists of exceptions in various privacy laws allowing police to receive search warrants faster. I'm going to leave that inside because, you're thinking privacy is being invaded and they're going to be able to do it faster. You're thinking, uh-oh. Most of the exceptions apply to ex-criminals' relations to the rebels. So here is telling you, hey, this is going to be only for ex-criminals with relations to the rebels. So if you're not, an ex-criminal, or have relations to the rebels, you're probably fine. What I'm going to do, though, is actually strike that out. Last part. However, some of the exceptions also apply to civilians who have expressed disloyal opinions against the government. And this one right here kind of goes hand in hand with the entire article itself because, any sort of negative thought you've ever had of your government, you're suddenly thinking, wait a minute, so just because I had a negative thought, I'm suddenly a person of interest? So there you go, that's a negative article right there. I'm going to use this one for sure, I like it. I'm going to come over here, and Phil, he's a member of the Loyalist Party, so he might not like that. Frank, however, is opposed to the Loyalists before they came to power. So Frank, you're going to be writing this one for me. And as you can see over here, Frank's rebel affiliate. I can't even move over there with my mouse. So look over here to the left-hand side. You'll see his opinion is completely filled up in the rebel bar. So Frank is going to be more than happy to publish that one for us. So there you go. Now, let's check out the public culture bill has passed. Wait a minute. No. Put it down right here. The public culture bill has passed. Seems harmless enough, right? New bill has passed, forces independent media outlets to shut down. Suddenly you're thinking, wow, what is this? What's happening with this bill that's been passing over here? So I'm over here forcing, or the government anyway, is forcing independent media outlets to shut down. And, you know, they could actually shut me down if I express too much anti-government, I guess, affiliation, which I'm actually doing with these articles. But again, for the premise of this video, I just wanted to kind of take that pad. So we'll choose this title, and then the public culture bill that the government presented last year has passed. Harmless enough? The new bill has been created to stop the creation and distribution of incorrect and improper content. You know, doesn't seem too bad, right? The bill will force independent media outlets to either shut down or to join the new government-funded union called the Loyalist News and Media Association, meaning you either join their, union, where they're going to probably go over every single thing you're going to write before you publish it out, or you get shut down. So that right there, pretty anti-government. This one right here, I'm going to strike this one out, and we'll do this right here. I like this. So really anti-government. Who are we going to give this to? I think Julie might probably be best for this problem here. There you go, Julie. You have some pretty positive feels for the rebels, so there you go. The last two right here that we have are just tutorial ones. They're not going to really affect anything, so I'm just going to give them to Phil, and there you go. By the way, this build right here has 6 weeks of different articles for you to actually check out, so we're only going to go with 1 week because I wanted to show you what the game's about, and because the game is free and available for everybody, at least this build is, I'd prefer it if you actually go and download it for yourself and, check it out for yourself, and I'm over here just kind of bringing light to it, because I'm looking forward to the final project, or the final product, but it's still far from that right now. Alrighty, so we're done. Let's go over here and send to print. Now, with this portion of the game, you actually put your articles into paper, and based on what you use, what page you use, you're actually going to bring up some interest in social, industrial, celebrity, and crime articles, right? And all of these are going to have some impact in the distribution areas, and we'll get more to that right now. But for now, my headline's going to be the Loyalist government to attack the privacy of civilians. Social went up and crime went up. Come as page number 2 here. Yeah, look, game, I got it. I got it under control. Yeah, I'll do it. Don't you worry, I got it. We'll come over here now, and our second page is going to be new bill is passed that forces, media outlets to shut down. Social went up again. We have 3 and 4, which is the tutorials. This probably won't do much, but, whatever. We have to use them for the first week. There you go. Alrighty, so once you've actually put your articles in a newspaper ready to go, you have to figure out how are you going to distribute these papers, and where are you going to do it as well. You have a few districts here. You have the North one, West one, East and South. Really easy to kind of, take into consideration here. However, all of them are going to have different influences and different political interests and things of that nature. For instance, the northern suburbs, population of about 75,000, they're government sectors and they're also legal bureaus. They are interested in celebrity news and industrial news. Their background is the upper class district of the Westport. It has very few inhabitants, but those who do live here have more money than the most people of Westport could ever dream of. So you could probably imagine they're more privy to Loyalist affiliation, while somewhere in the southern docks, where you have the highest population, meaning, oversaturation, probably unemployed people homeless, you're probably more interested in seeing what the fuck the government's doing, and also they probably have a higher affiliation to the rebels, because, the rebels are trying to put a stop to the vindictive dictatorship of the government. So, now it's up to you to figure out how are you going to distribute your paper. For now, our week is looking at really high social and high crime. Northern is only caring about industrial celebrity, so probably should not distribute too much paper there. Western is more crime and celebrity. Eastern factories and Southern docks are really interested in our newspaper more than likely, so Southern docks especially. I'm going to go ahead and actually go with, we'll distribute around like 60 over here. And then for the Eastern factories, we'll probably do, I would say 30. These guys over here, maybe like 5. I'm not trying to min-max it right now because I'm just kind of giving you an idea. But yeah, that would be my distribution right now. And we're going to go ahead and send this to the stores. Once you do this, you're going to have a little bit of side chatting thing going on with your characters over here, your newspaper writers, etc., etc. They're going to be basically talking based on the articles that you process that week, and also what's happening in the news and stuff like that, to give you an idea as to what's going on in the grand scheme of things here. So Frank, you know I've never been a big fan of the loyalist government, but the public culture bill is even worse than I imagined. Don't blame the government, blame the yellow journalism and blatant lies that gets published these days. There's nothing good about a misinformed public. So that's Phil, who's very, loyalist. Well, yeah, sure, but do you realize how much power this will give them over the media? I have to go with Frank on this one. I can't see how the public culture bill would be beneficial for anyone but the government. Some quality control is better than no quality control, Anne. You agree with me, right? Well, I see your point, Phil, but I'm also not sure if this was the best solution. We as media outlets do have a scary amount of power over people's opinions, but I'm also not sure if giving that power to the government is a great idea either. You only have 6 weeks available in this build, so obviously that's going to be expanded on beyond once the actual build comes out. Now right here we're actually showing how many papers we actually sold compared to how much we distributed in that area. As you can see here, we didn't sell that much, but that's to be expected because our newspaper still hasn't garnered popularity, which you will get by where you focus your newspaper sales to, how well the articles are you're actually putting out, and who you're actually aiming those articles for. And as you can see over here, your popularity will slowly grow depending on who you focus on more, and the opinion as well, as you can see for the northern suburbs, is related to the loyalists, but in the southern docks we're more towards the rebels, and this will actually increase and decrease depending on how you decide to actually put out your newspapers. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm aware. That's what I just talked about, game. I know. Let's just go on to the next part. Next part, please. And this here will be the ultimate thing. This will tell you the people's opinion of what's happening. So what I did here with my newspaper, how I was very anti-government, I've actually swayed the opinion of the people 15 plus towards the rebels. However, I've also brought the suspicion of the government on me. As you can see here, this is going to be their kind of suspicion of you, and as you can see, I'm at trusting initially, but now I added 15 points towards suspicious. And again, all of this will have an impact in the overall feel of the game, but I just wanted to give you an idea as to what the Westport Independent is all about and what to look forward to when the game is actually complete. But again, if you want to check it out for yourself, I encourage you to do so. It's free download. I'll have the link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. And again, if you're a fan of Papers, Please, I'm pretty sure you'll feel right at home with this one, especially with the end product once it's finally out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up, leave a like to support. It does mean a lot. I will catch you next time.